and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Whidbey Island on this gray morning. I'm sure Miss Whidbey will take her gray sweater off by noon and we'll have sunshine. Maybe. Ours is a welcoming congregation guided by principles that are printed on the back of your program. In Unitarian Universalism, we invite the whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. We are diverse in our faith, history, and spirituality, but aligned in our desire to make a difference for the good. Many of you may have recognized that, oh, we're not lighting yet. We're not lighting yet. Okay. Many of you may have recognized the prelude to the theme of Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. It's pretty easy for us because we're all wearing name tags. But wouldn't it be nice if we could make a connection a little bit past name tags, where everybody knows your name and we're always glad you came? That sounds a bit like us, and we're going to talk more about that later on today, because our theme today is the importance of UU Coffee Hour. We are privileged to have Reverend Florence Caplow back with us today. She's been an occasional guest speaker for over many years since she was an intern minister at Quimper UU in Port Townsend. A UU minister, a Zen teacher, conservation biologist, and author. Reverend Caplow now lives in Port Angeles, looking out over the Salish Sea, which might be a lovely thing to do. Her most recent book, co-authored by Reverend Julianne Lepp, is called Tend to Your Spirit, Mindful Living with Chronic Illness, which may be a good read for many people here. So welcome, Reverend Caplow. And she also serves part-time as the minister for Vashon Island congregation. I have a few announcements this week. Next service will be an in-house service featuring Connie Johnson and Chiron McMahill, titled This I Believe, and both will speak candidly about their faith and their beliefs, offering us an opportunity to consider what it is that's in our hearts and minds, what we believe. We will also continue to accept donations for WAIF and Critters and Company to help those in the community who need help feeding their pet companions. There's a big basket out in the foyer, and it will remain there to accept donations until our pet service on August 2nd. I'd also like to mention a safety reminder. For our congregation, we play musical chairs here a lot because of events and the chairs get moved around. But it's quite important that we always have space away from the windows and a big clear center aisle so that if for some reason we need emergency services, they can get to people who need it, and that if we need to leave, we can evacuate safely. So if you come and rearrange the chairs for an event that you're having or a meeting, please make sure to do a quick safety check before you leave the sanctuary and make sure that everything is clear and safe for the next people. Okay. There will also be an annual meeting of the UUCWI members following the coffee hour and refreshments after the service. Please join us for that. And finally, I want to mention that today is since it's the last Sunday of Pride Month, and any time is a good reminder, today is the anniversary of the Stonewall riots in 1969. There were very few places where gays and lesbians could congregate and socialize in New York City and many other places because it was illegal for them to gather. But the Stonewall had been left alone. The police department looked the other way for that until one night, on June 28th in 1969, they made an unannounced raid that turned quite violent. It was followed by 5 days of angry demonstrations and riots. But those demonstrations and riots served as a powerful catalyst for the modern-day gay rights movement. Gay rights activism caught fire such that on June 28th the following year, New York City hosted its very first Pride Parade, or Pride March. Very significant. And many others followed, and they changed the world. It took until 2019 for the New York City Police Commissioner to make a formal apology saying, quote, "The actions taken by the New York Police Department were wrong, plain and simple." Now those gay rights and LGBTQ plus rights are under fire again. The fight's not over, so if you're in the mood to make some good trouble, that is a good cause. Okay, now we can light our chalice. And I want to say our opening words are called "Let Us Dare." We make a lot of small talk sometimes, and small talk is difficult, particularly at happy hours. But these words are meant to inspire us. In an age where words are easy to generate and harder to mean, we pause to light this flame, not to perfect the message, but to offer something true. We light this chalice for the quiet courage it takes to speak plainly of what moves us. For the voices inside us that say, "I have measured out my life with coffee spoons." But you have shown up all the same, hopeful, haunted, and human. And for every trembling invitation, every imperfect email that carries a piece of someone's heart, we give thanks. May this light remind us, connection begins not with the flawless gesture, but the honest one. And even the smallest act of bravery can be the start of a shared path. You are.
Since this is a silly service, we can be as silly as we want up here. So, good morning to all of you. Sorry, I have to take a sip of coffee here. And I loved what was said, reminding us of the Stonewall riots on this day, and happy last Sunday of Pride Month. I was in the SCWIM Pride Parade yesterday. Went about one block one way, one block that, but it was great. I am very happy to be with you again this morning, but I did have to get up very early to make it from Port Angeles to Port Townsend, take the ferry across Admiralty Inlet, drive across the island. So, though that was a wonderful way, beautiful way, it was sunny when I got up in the morning, to start the day, and the ferry was beautiful. Thank goodness for coffee. Or as I saw at a little coffee stand in SCWIM yesterday, with enough coffee, nothing is impossible. We Unitarian Universalists are usually so sincere and so serious, especially on Sunday mornings, but not today. This may be disappointing to some of you, especially since our world is in such a mess. But as the late, great Kurt Vonnegut said in his last talk, and how should we behave during this apocalypse? We should be unusually kind to one another, certainly. But we should also stop being so serious. Jokes help a lot. So, in that spirit, please enjoy the silliness of some of this service. Laughter is good medicine, even in the middle of the apocalypse. And if you are, God forbid, not a coffee drinker, as was true for me for many years, you can just come along for the ride. Just as we UUs have changed the words of many venerable Methodist hymns, shh, don't tell anyone, some of you probably know, you can just substitute the name of your favorite morning beverage every time we say coffee. Because we're UUs, that's what we do. And if you're visiting today and not a UU, as we call each other, well, you're about to learn a lot about us, things we don't usually talk about. that you should probably know if you're going to come back again. And do be sure to stay for coffee hour. It's the best part. And I really want to thank Diane. I believe this is her second service as a service leader, and I don't know if she knew what she was getting into. So thank you. So I would like to invite you now to please rise in body or spirit for one of our very best UU hymns. Hymn number 360 in the gray hymnal. If you like having a hymnal, if you grabbed one. Otherwise, you can just see the words up there and follow along. Here we have gathered, all about togetherness, which is also a theme of this service. It's not just about being silly. So those of you who've been here when I have spoken before know that I often like to do a guided meditation in this time. So it's going to be on the theme. So please close your eyes if you're comfortable. Feel yourself here in this beautiful space, surrounded by such good people. And I want you to this is a visualization, so I want you to imagine it's the morning and you are in your very favorite place. Maybe it's your front patio or your kitchen table, and you have the beverage of your choice in front of you, whatever it may be. Maybe coffee, maybe something else. And you're looking out, maybe you're looking out the window, and there's a deep peace in your heart. Just connect with that feeling of peacefulness, of the stillness of the morning before all the chores and concerns of the day come up. And how that feels in your body and in your heart. And imagine that you can share that peace with maybe the others in your household. Just kind of sending it out, filling your house with that peace. As you take a little sip of your favorite morning beverage. And then you're sending it out to everyone on this island. May they too have a peaceful morning, have peace in their heart. And then out to the whole world where there is so much not peace, that each person might find, whatever their circumstances, a little bit of ease, a little bit of peace, like you can feel right now. And that really, our congregation is the whole world, not just those who are here this morning. May everyone, everywhere, have the opportunity to feel a little peace. So in a moment, we're going to have a hymn, and I really invite you to just stay in a kind of meditative space. You don't need to stand up. There is More Love Somewhere, which is a really beautiful hymn. The words will be on the up here, or you can just kind of sing along. It's a very easy hymn. And just really, really connect with that feeling of wishing love and peace for the congregation of our world.
That was relaxing. Ken is going to sing us a wonderful song for the offertory that I think you all know. What a wonderful world. And it reminds us of all the joy in the world, all the beautiful things that we get for free. But of course, the joys that we receive for free, we need to give something back because joy doesn't keep the lights on. So we will pass the basket, and we appreciate your generosity in that. And please enjoy the song.
So I was at my son's wedding, and there were probably 100 people there, and from all different kinds of walks. There were playwrights and mathematicians, and Evan's got a circle of friends who are in the sciences and ones that are artists, and it was just struck me suddenly sitting there when I was just filled with joy that, wait, maybe this is the real world, and the world that I have been experiencing for the last year is the fake news. So that's what I'm going with. It's a wonderful world. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow, they'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you for your generosity. Since this is a coffee service, I have a story to tell. Back a few decades ago in a New England village, there was a terrible fire. The whole town went up in flames. People were running down the street, Main Street, to escape the fire. There was an Episcopal priest, an imam, a rabbi, and the UU minister, all running down Main Street to escape when the UU minister realized that everybody but her was carrying something. She looked more closely, and the minister looked closely and saw that the Episcopal priest was carrying the host and a crucifix. The rabbi had the scrolls of the Torah, and the imam had the Quran, all their most sacred objects. The UU minister stopped in her tracks and called out, "Wait, I have to go back to the church. I'll be right back." She ran as fast as possible, dashed into the smoking building, and in the dark grabbed something and came running back. When she saw them, she said, "Whew, that was close." And they found she had wrapped her arms around the UU coffee urn. So what we have next is really playful, and it is a musical masterpiece made by the good folks at UU Church of Amherst, with words by Reverend Christopher Rabel. And it's going to show as a video up here, and I hope you enjoy this. We're showing it with generous permission from that congregation.
Early
That was pretty fun, huh? Yeah, you might be sitting here wondering how our Sunday service went so far off the rails this morning. It's all my fault. I take full responsibility. Oh, wait. Got to take a sip of coffee. It's wearing off. I know that we're all getting familiar with the new UU values, but perhaps you didn't know, because we don't talk about this so much, that fun is also a UU value. But I suspect you're fully capable of fun as good UUs. So here we are telling UU coffee jokes. And in fact, how many of you know about the Facebook group, the UU Hysterical Society? Oh, a few of you. Check it out if you're on Facebook. I totally understand if you're not. Well, the UU Hysterical Society has a web page where readers contribute jokes. And UU jokes about two things are forbidden: coffee and committees, because there's already too many jokes about both those things. But that joke that Diane shared is a classic. I don't know when I first heard it, but every time I hear it, I laugh. Just like every time I listen to that video, and I don't want to admit how many times I've watched it, it makes me laugh. For something to be really funny, it has to have a grain of truth. Because this week, and maybe every week to some degree, I suspect that what really matters on Sunday morning is what happens after the service. Although, again, we don't usually say this out loud. Ministers, of course, think what really matters are their sermons. Musicians are pretty sure it's the music. But really, truly, I think it's the coffee hour. In fact, I am going to go so far as to say that part of what makes that joke so funny, at least to me, is that coffee is our sacrament. And remember, you can always substitute the morning beverage of your choice when I say the word coffee. And now I'm being serious. We are a non-creedal religious community, as we heard earlier in Joys and Sorrows about all the people that show up on Sunday morning, where many different spiritual and theological understandings are not only tolerated, but celebrated. There is no one sacred object as other religions have, though our chalice might come close, and that's relatively new for us. What we share is a commitment to be in covenant with one another. This means these words might be familiar to you, they're used in many UU congregations, that we covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Covenant is at the heart of being Unitarian Universalist. But how do we manifest covenant? Yes, you will all sit very politely during the service each Sunday, not booing the speaker, and hopefully staying awake for the sermon, and I thank you for that. Yes, you stand as you are willing and able to sing our sometimes unsingable hymns. That's all very well behaved and kind, but those parts of Sunday are not really about covenant. Covenant is a fancy word about how you are with each other when you get up after the service. Pour a cup of coffee or tea, to be fully inclusive here. Perhaps take one of the lovingly prepared snacks that the hospitality team of the day has provided and talk with a friend or a stranger or a visitor. Commiserate over life's small difficulties or big tragedies. Help a visitor feel welcomed and sip our sacrament together. Try, if you can, to imagine a service here with no coffee hour. Maybe it's even happened here. Can anyone remember? Have there been those? Yeah. Awful, isn't it? I've experienced this, and by coincidence, the first time was my very first service when I came to Port Townsend in Quimper UU to be the intern there. And that was a pretty large congregation at the time, with 2 services and several hundred people in attendance, and coffee hour after both services. But they were having trouble finding volunteers to make coffee on Sunday. I would guess some long-suffering people had been doing it for decades, maybe centuries, and got too old, too tired, or too fed up to keep making coffee and bringing the snacks. And everyone looked around and thought, someone else should step up. And no one did. So the senior minister said, Reverend Bruce Bodie, I'm sure some of you know him, fine, we just won't have coffee hour this Sunday. Wow. Was that ever grim? Even thinking about it makes me cringe. People wandering around the fellowship hall like lost souls or ghosts, eyeing the silent, dark kitchen, confused and disoriented, not really talking with each other, then wandering away sadly, stumbling out the doors. It felt so ungenerous not to offer food or drink, like the congregation had just become the world's worst host, the kind that doesn't even offer you a glass of water, much less a cup of coffee. I thought, I never want to experience this again in this lifetime. And if it does happen again, I'm going to make the coffee myself. Over the years, I've realized that there are many rituals and taboos associated with our UU coffee hour, even though we think we are so open-minded. Visitors, listen carefully. As a lifelong UU, here are a few things that I've observed in every UU congregation I know. We're very different. Our congregations are very different. They have a different feeling. These things are true everywhere. See if these ring true for you, and if one does, please nod your head vigorously and I'll know you're still awake. Okay, number 1. There has to be coffee hour, no matter what. To not have coffee hour is a terrible abomination and leads to depression, as I just described. Number 2, coffee and tea and snacks are always offered without charge to members and visitors alike, including anyone who might just wander in without having attended the service, though they might get some disapproving looks. To have to pay for coffee after sitting through a Sunday service would be an abomination. Do I have any nods? Come on. Yeah, good. There's somebody awake here. Oh, God. Coffee hour is never before the service. And I don't know why. It would make so much sense if you think about it. Hydration, caffeine, and sugar. People would be more awake and might even enjoy the service more. But that never, ever happens. Here's another one. Coffee hour is hosted by members of the congregation, never by professionals. When I preached 2 Sundays at All Souls, New York City, which is one of the largest UU congregations in the country, let me just tell you, they have an all-professional choir. And probably some of those choir members were also singing in Broadway shows and moonlighting at the UU church. But the people standing behind the coffee and hot water were loyal members of the congregation. Even if on any other day of the week, they might be very important people in New York City. Coffee served by paid staff is an abomination. Getting any nods? Thank you. Good. There must be regular and decaf coffee, preferably fair trade, because we are UUs. In fact, I think, yep, fair trade. I knew it. This came from your refrigerator. Oh, by the way, this is My favorite, everybody was supposed to bring, if you happen to read the newsletter, your favorite cup. Do we have some favorite cups? Look at this, I'm seeing them up. So this is a really cool cup you can come up and look at afterwards. Somebody gave it to me. It actually has a UU chalice on it. I mean, is that perfect or what? Handmade cup with a UU chalice. Okay, where were we? And then of course there has to be hot water and assortment of teas, including green tea. Anything less is an abomination. Snacks are somewhat optional, but not really. And snacks must mostly be sweet. And if there are children in the congregation, this happened all the time in my congregation in Urbana, they will swarm the snack table and eat too many of the snacks, and the adults will complain bitterly on a regular basis. This is expected. Ministers are expected to attend coffee hour, even if they are introverted and hate it passionately. And there are a lot of introverted UU ministers. There are ministers who just don't care about this rule and flee immediately for a nap after they have dispensed their pearls of wisdom to the congregation. But it's a risky business for a minister not to attend coffee hour because it is, after all, our sacrament. It is understood that coffee hour is tough on introverts. Do we have any introverts here? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of nods. And a lot of UUs are introverts. So introverts are not forced to attend. This is important for the visitors to know. You can spot them hurrying out as quickly as possible after the service ends, maybe right behind the introverted minister. You too can do this if need be. And finally, this is one of the great mysteries. Coffee hour is never an hour long. And it doesn't just include coffee, so I don't know why we call it that. There may be a better name. If you can come up with one, let me know. And I'm sure these are not the only rituals and taboos we have about coffee hour, and let me know if I missed any. This reminds me of another UU joke. What happens when a UU is excommunicated? Any guesses? Their coffee is taken away. So I actually read a whole book on coffee in preparation for this sermon called The Devil's Cup, A History of the World According to Coffee. And I found a story in that book which I would like to share with you this morning. In East Africa, they tell a story about the discovery of coffee. An Ethiopian goat herd named Kaldi one day noticed his best goat dancing about and baaing like a maniac. It seemed to happen after the old billy goat had nibbled on the leaves and berries of a certain plant. The goat herd tried a few himself and soon was dancing about too. A holy man wandered by and asked the boy why he was dancing with a goat. The goatherd explained. The monk took some berries home and found that after eating them, he could not sleep. It so happened that this holy man was famous for his rather tedious all-night sermons. You think you have it rough. And was having trouble keeping his disciples awake. So he immediately ordered all his disciples to chew the bean as he preached. The dervish's sleepiness vanished, and word spread about the great prophet whose electrifying wisdom kept you awake until dawn. So, I'm half hoping I'll see some of you dancing a little jig of joy after the service, maybe with a goat. And there's actually a coffee shop in Olympia called Dancing Goats. So, there you go. Probably because of the story. Maybe years from now or next fall, you'll be sitting here completely bored by the sermon, because that does happen. We all know that happens. And you will remember that it's okay, because the real spiritual juice is after the service with the wonderful people sitting around you. Before I end, this is the end of the official church year. You go into a new year next Sunday. I'd like to ask everyone who has volunteered sometime during this year to bring snacks, maybe bring some flowers, make coffee, boil water or wash dishes, welcome people, hand out the orders of service. In other words, anyone who has made this a welcoming place on Sunday morning, sometime in the last 10 months, to stand as you are willing and able. Can we have those people stand up? Remember, without you, Sunday morning would be grim indeed. Let's give these people a round of hearty applause. And actually, you can stay standing because we're going to rise in body or spirit for hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Thank you for your wholehearted willingness to be silly together today. As we end our service, please enjoy the true UU sacrament just waiting for you in the back of the sanctuary. I have been assured that coffee hour is happening today.
Let us leave this gathering not with the pressure to be polished, but with the permission to be real, to say the awkward thing kindly, to reach out before the words are perfect, to risk being seen, and in doing so, make space for others to be seen too. In a world that often asks us to curate and filter, may we remember truth is magnetic. And small acts of honesty can call a community into being. Carry this light with you, not in your hands, but in your words, in your invitations, in your willingness to begin. And now, as a prelude, we are having a sing-along, and that little familiar tune that you heard, the theme song to Cheers. The words are in your inside your program, and you probably mostly all know them, so take it away.
Thank you. I back this off 2.5 steps because it's unsingable in the original key unless you're like a big tenor. This is in G, a little bit lower, so we can sing it. Making our way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.